The only way to deal with toxic people is to walk away. Not argue, not explain, not fix, not forgive and forget. Walk away. That sounds weak, doesn't it? It feels like surrender, like you lost, like they won. But listen carefully. Toxic people don't fight to understand you. They fight to control you. They don't want peace, they want dominance. They don't want resolution, they want reaction. And every second you stay, you bleed. You think you're being strong because you endure it. You think you're noble because you stay loyal. You think patience makes you powerful. It doesn't. It makes you available. Available for manipulation, available for disrespect, available for slow psychological erosion. Toxic people survive on access. Access to your emotions, access to your time, access to your attention. Cut the access, and you cut the power. But you don't want to cut it, because somewhere deep inside, you still want them to change. You still want them to see your worth. You still want justice. You want that moment where they wake up and say, "I was wrong. You were right. I see you now." That moment rarely comes, and while you wait for it, they study you. They learn your triggers. They learn your weaknesses. They learn how far they can push before you break. They test your boundaries like a child playing with fire, and you keep forgiving. You call it love. You call it friendship. You call it family. You call it loyalty. But let's call it what it really is: attachment to pain. Toxic people are addicted to chaos. Peace feels boring to them. Stability feels threatening. They create problems because problems give them control. If you're calm, they provoke you. If you're confident, they undermine you. If you're happy, they compete with you. If you're hurting, they disappear. They don't want your growth. They want your dependency. And the most dangerous part? They don't always look like villains. Sometimes they look like victims. Sometimes they look charming. Sometimes they look broken. They tell you about their trauma, their bad childhood, their past betrayals, and you, with your soft heart, decide to be their healer. You think love will fix them. You think patience will transform them. But here's the brutal truth. You cannot heal someone who uses their wounds as weapons. Some people don't want to be saved. They want to be enabled. And every time you excuse their behavior, you teach them one thing: you will stay. You will tolerate it. You will absorb it. You will carry it. So they escalate. The disrespect becomes subtle insults. The insults become humiliation. The humiliation becomes emotional warfare. And you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm misunderstood. Maybe I'm overreacting. That's how it begins. They distort your reality. They rewrite history. They deny what they clearly said. They make you defend yourself for things you didn't do. It's not accidental. It's strategy. A toxic person doesn't need to punch you to break you. They just need you confused long enough that you stop trusting your own mind. Once you doubt yourself, you are easier to control. And control is the goal. Understand this deeply. Toxic people fear one thing more than anything else: irrelevance. They fear being ignored. They fear being replaced. They fear losing access to your emotional energy. That's why walking away is powerful. Not screaming, not exposing, not revenge, not long emotional speeches. Silence, distance, absence. You think walking away means they win. No, it means you stop playing a rigged game. Because in their game, there are no winners, only survivors. You survive by leaving. You survive by refusing to explain yourself for the 100th time. You survive by refusing to beg for basic respect. You survive by refusing to shrink so they can feel tall. But walking away is not easy. If it were easy, you would have done it already. You stay because of history. You stay because of memories. You stay because of potential. Potential is the most dangerous drug. You don't love who they are. You love who they could be. You replay the good moments in your head. You magnify the rare kindness. You ignore the consistent damage. You hold on to the 10% of goodness and tolerate the 90% of chaos. Why? Because hope feels safer than loneliness. But hear this carefully. Loneliness is quiet. Toxicity is loud. Loneliness gives you space to rebuild. Toxicity destroys you from the inside while you smile on the outside. You are not strong for enduring disrespect. You are strong for refusing it. There is a difference. Endurance without boundaries is self-betrayal. Stoicism is about mastering your response. And sometimes the strongest response is no response. When you walk away, something shifts. At first, it hurts. You'll feel withdrawal because yes, toxic relationships create addiction. High highs, low lows, chaos followed by temporary affection. Your brain gets hooked on unpredictability. You'll want to go back. You'll want closure. You'll want an explanation. You'll want one last conversation. That one last conversation is a trap. Because toxic people are masters of re-entry. When they feel you slipping away, they change temporarily. They apologize, they promise, they soften, they mirror your emotions. Not because they transformed, but because they're losing control. Once you return, the cycle restarts. Maybe slower, maybe subtler, but it restarts. That's why walking away must be final. Not dramatic, not emotional, final. You don't announce it, you don't threaten it, you do it. Block, distance, detach. And then the real battle begins. The battle inside your own mind. You'll question yourself. You'll miss them. You'll remember their laugh. You'll remember the good days. But remember this too. Peace feels unfamiliar when you've been living in chaos. Silence feels empty when you're used to noise. Give yourself time. Your nervous system needs to reset. Your identity needs to rebuild. Your standards need to rise. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. When you tolerate toxic people, you lower your self-worth in real time. You teach yourself that you deserve less. Less respect, less honesty, less consistency. And over time, you begin to believe it. Walking away is not just about leaving them. It's about returning to yourself. Returning to the version of you that didn't need validation from someone unstable. Returning to the version of you that had standards. Returning to the version of you that valued peace over drama. You cannot build a powerful life while constantly defending your sanity. You cannot grow while someone is committed to misunderstanding you. You cannot rise while carrying someone who enjoys pulling you down. Some people are not meant to be understood. They are meant to be observed and exited. And when you finally leave, they might call you cold. Let them. They might call you arrogant. Let them. They might say you changed. Good. Growth looks like betrayal to people who benefited from your weakness. You didn't become cruel, you became unavailable. And to a toxic person, unavailability feels like punishment. That is why walking away is the only way. Because you cannot out-argue manipulation. You cannot out-love disrespect. You cannot outwork someone's insecurity. You remove yourself. And in that removal, you reclaim power. But this is only the beginning, because walking away is a physical act. Detaching emotionally is another war entirely. Detaching emotionally is a different kind of war. Walking away is external, it's physical. You block the number, you stop showing up, you remove the access. But inside your mind, the conversations continue. You replay old arguments. You imagine what you should have said. You create scenarios where they finally understand you. Your body may be gone, but your thoughts are still chained. This is where most people fail. They leave the person, but keep the attachment. And attachment is where the real poison lives. You were not just attached to them. You were attached to the identity you had around them. The fixer, the loyal one, the strong one, the patient one, the one who never gives up. You built pride around enduring pain. Now that you've walked away, you feel empty because the role is gone. You don't know who you are without the struggle. That's the psychological trap. Toxic relationships are not just emotional connections. They are identity structures. They give you a mission, a problem to solve, a chaos to manage. When the chaos disappears, you feel useless. But useless is not what you are. You are simply detoxing. Understand the psychology of what happened to you. Toxic people operate through intermittent reinforcement. Not constant love, not constant hate. Unpredictable affection. One day they praise you, the next day they belittle you. One week they need you, the next week they disappear. Your brain becomes obsessed because the human mind is wired to chase uncertainty. When rewards are inconsistent, the addiction becomes stronger. It's the same mechanism behind gambling. You stay because maybe this time it will be good again. Maybe this time they mean it. Maybe this time they've changed. And sometimes, for a short period, it feels like they have. They become attentive. They become gentle. They become everything you wanted. But it never lasts. Because the kindness was not transformation. It was maintenance. Just enough to keep you invested. Just enough to prevent you from leaving. They never wanted harmony. They wanted control of the emotional climate. And control requires instability. So when you walked away, you disrupted their system. That's why many toxic people react intensely when you leave. They don't miss you. They miss controlling you. They don't miss your presence. They miss your reaction. If they truly valued you, they would have valued your peace while you were there. Now here comes the harder truth. You also participated in the cycle. Not because you're weak, but because you had unhealed wounds. Toxic people don't attach randomly. They attach where there is tolerance. Maybe you grew up earning love. Maybe you were taught to endure. Maybe you equated suffering with loyalty. So when someone treated you poorly, you didn't leave. You tried harder. You over-explained. You overgave. You over-forgave. You believed effort could fix disrespect. That belief kept you trapped. Stoicism teaches something brutal but freeing. You cannot control another person's character. You can only control your standards. And standards are meaningless without enforcement. A boundary you don't enforce is just a suggestion. When you finally enforced it by walking away, you did something radical. You chose self-respect over attachment. But now the loneliness whispers. What if you were too harsh? What if they're hurting? What if you misjudged them? Let me make this clear. Compassion does not require self-destruction. You can understand someone's trauma without volunteering to become their emotional punching bag. Their past explains their behavior. It does not excuse it. You are not obligated to suffer because someone else suffered. Read that again in your mind. You are not obligated to suffer because someone else suffered.
If someone drowns and instead of learning to swim, they pull others under, your job is not to drown with them. Your job is to step back. Detachment is not cruelty. It is clarity. Clarity that your peace is non-negotiable. Clarity that love without respect is self-harm. Clarity that loyalty to the wrong person is betrayal of yourself. Now comes the stage where they try to return. The late-night message, the "I miss you," the "I've changed," the "no one understands me like you."
They will aim directly at your empathy. They will remind you of your history. They will highlight their vulnerability. They will say exactly what you once begged to hear. But ask yourself one question. If they truly changed, why did it take your absence? Why did it take losing access to your energy for them to realize your value? Real change is consistent, not triggered by fear of abandonment. Toxic people often confuse regret with growth. Regret is about losing benefits. Growth is about changing behavior. Watch behavior, not words. If you ever let them back in, the only evidence that matters is sustained action over time. But here's the truth most people avoid. Sometimes you don't need to test it. Sometimes the lesson is simply to leave it. You don't have to re-enter a burning building to confirm it's still on fire. The version of you that tolerated chaos cannot create a life of power. Power requires emotional discipline, and emotional discipline means you do not entertain what destabilizes you. You don't argue with disrespect, you exit it. You don't beg for clarity, you demand consistency through your absence. You don't chase closure, you create it. Closure is not a conversation. Closure is a decision. The decision that you deserve peace more than you desire explanation. And slowly, something shifts. You start sleeping better, your mind becomes quieter, you stop anticipating conflict. You realize how tense you were all the time. That tension wasn't love, it was survival mode. You were constantly calculating their mood, constantly adjusting your tone, constantly avoiding triggers. That is not connection, that is psychological warfare. When you detach emotionally, you begin to see clearly. You see the manipulation patterns, you see the guilt tactics, you see the projection. They accused you of what they were doing. They called you selfish when you set boundaries. They called you dramatic when you expressed pain. They called you distant when you protected yourself. Projection is their shield. But now, distance gives you perspective, and perspective gives you power. The goal is not to hate them. Hate is another form of attachment. The goal is indifference. Calm indifference. The kind where their name no longer spikes your heart rate. The kind where their opinion no longer defines your mood. The kind where their absence feels like relief. That level of detachment is earned through discipline, through self-reflection, through painful honesty. You must confront why you tolerated it, not to shame yourself, but to strengthen yourself. If you don't understand your patterns, you will repeat them. Different face, same chaos. The real victory is not leaving one toxic person. It is raising your internal standards so high that toxic people feel uncomfortable around you. Because when you value yourself deeply, manipulators sense it. They test lightly, and when they see you don't bend, they leave. That is power, not dominance, not revenge, standards. And the final stage of this transformation is this. You stop needing them to be the villain. You stop needing to prove they were wrong. You stop needing validation from outsiders about how bad it was. You simply know, and your knowing is enough. But there is one final step, because walking away and detaching emotionally clears the battlefield. Now you must build something stronger in its place. Now you must build something stronger in its place. Because if you only remove toxicity and build nothing, you will crave the chaos again. Emptiness invites old demons. Power requires structure. You walked away. You detached. Now you rebuild. First, you rebuild your standards. Not the soft standards you speak about, the enforced ones. You decide what disrespect looks like. You decide what inconsistency looks like. You decide what manipulation feels like. And the moment you detect it, you act. No debate, no emotional trial, no second courtroom in your head. Action. This is where your identity shifts. You are no longer the one who tolerates. You are the one who observes and decides. There is a difference between reacting and deciding. Reaction is emotional. Decision is strategic. Toxic people survive off reaction, but they cannot survive where decisions are cold and firm. You don't need to become cruel. You need to become clear. Clarity is dangerous to manipulators because clarity cannot be gaslit. When you know your values, confusion disappears. When you know your boundaries, guilt loses its power. When you know your worth, charm becomes transparent. You begin to see patterns instantly. The subtle backhanded compliment, the fake apology, the shifting blame, the emotional withdrawal designed to punish you. You see it, and instead of engaging, you disengage. Silently, powerfully, without performance. This is emotional mastery. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion. It's about choosing which emotions deserve your energy. Anger at a toxic person? Wasted. Trying to prove your point? Wasted. Trying to make them understand? Wasted. Energy is currency, and you have been bankrupt before. Never again. You invest your energy where it multiplies. Growth, discipline, skill, health, peace. While they continue recycling drama, you elevate. And elevation is the ultimate revenge. Not loud revenge, not dramatic revenge, silent ascension. Because here's the truth that cuts deep. The moment you truly level up, they feel it. Not because you told them, but because your absence becomes permanent. You don't stalk their page. You don't ask mutual friends. You don't secretly hope they notice you thriving. You genuinely move forward. And that forward motion is irreversible. This is where you become dangerous. Not dangerous in violence, dangerous in detachment. When someone cannot control your emotions, they cannot control you. And when they cannot control you, they lose interest. Toxic people search for supply. They search for emotional reactors. They search for people who need validation. When you no longer need validation from them, you disappear from their radar. That is freedom. But let's go deeper. Walking away from toxic people is not just about protection, it is about identity refinement. Every time you refuse disrespect, you reinforce self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of power. When you stayed before, you betrayed yourself in small ways. You ignored red flags. You minimized your intuition. You silenced your discomfort. Now, you listen. If something feels off, you don't argue with your instincts. You investigate. If behavior repeats, you don't rationalize it. You respond. You stop explaining your boundaries. Mature people respect boundaries without debate. Manipulators challenge them. That alone tells you everything. The new version of you does not chase closure. You understand something most people never do. Closure is self-granted. You don't need their apology. You don't need their confession. You don't need their acknowledgement. You know what happened, and your knowing is enough. There is strength in not needing the final word, because the strongest person in the room is the one who can leave without a speech. And now, your life changes in subtle but powerful ways. Your circle becomes smaller, but calmer. Your conversations become deeper, but fewer. Your energy becomes protected, but potent. You are no longer addicted to intensity. You are addicted to stability. Peace becomes attractive. Consistency becomes sexy. Reliability becomes powerful. Chaos becomes repulsive. That is transformation. And here's the final evolution. You forgive, not them, yourself. You forgive yourself for staying too long. You forgive yourself for ignoring red flags. You forgive yourself for confusing potential with reality. Because shame keeps you stuck, but responsibility sets you free. You take responsibility for your tolerance, and once you own it, you eliminate it. That is growth. The world does not change because toxic people disappear. It changes because you stop entertaining them. You stop giving access to your mind. You stop allowing emotional trespassing. Your standards rise. And when your standards rise, your reality follows. You will notice something almost ironic. Healthy people will feel unfamiliar at first. Their calmness might feel boring. Their consistency might feel strange. No games, no mystery, no emotional roller coaster. Just stability. At first, your nervous system may not know how to process it because you were trained in chaos. But stay, adjust, rewire. This is where real strength is built. Not in surviving toxicity, but in choosing peace repeatedly, day after day, without apology, without guilt, without fear of being called cold. Because understand this clearly.
You are not cold. You are disciplined. You are not heartless. You are self-aware. You are not arrogant. You are aligned. And alignment intimidates those who thrive on confusion. You don't need to announce your boundaries anymore. Your presence communicates them. Your silence communicates them. Your absence communicates them. You become selective, and selective people are powerful. Not everyone gets access. Not everyone gets explanation. Not everyone gets second chances. Access to you becomes earned, not assumed, and that shift alone changes your entire life trajectory. Because the quality of your life is directly tied to the quality of people you allow near you. If you guard your energy like a fortress, your empire grows. If you leave the gates open, chaos enters. It was never about hating toxic people. It was about outgrowing them. It was about realizing that you cannot build a kingdom while negotiating with clowns. So you stop negotiating. You stop explaining. You stop reacting. You walk away, and you keep walking. Not with bitterness, but with focus. Not with rage, but with direction. Not with revenge, but with power. The only way to deal with toxic people is to walk away, because arguing feeds them, explaining empowers them, staying rewards them, but leaving starves them, and in their starvation, you find your strength. Remember this, you don't lose people who disrespect you, you lose illusions. And once the illusion is gone, your vision becomes sharp, your standards become firm, your peace becomes protected, and your power becomes undeniable. Walk away, not because you are weak, but because you finally understand your worth. And once you understand your worth, you never negotiate it again.